Okay, so to everybody who knows me, who has seen me around Glasgow, I'm Zein, and I'm going to be talking about how to balance a PhD with a visual impairment. So basically, like I said, you guys must have seen me around Glasgow. I am known to be the person with the cane. So I use a white cane since I am visually impaired. I'm Jordanian, and I'm a second-year PhD researcher at the College of Arts. A fun fact is that 5 to 10% of PhD researchers have a disability, either a visible disability or an invisible disability. My research topic is on digital media and disability studies. So I focus on how Facebook perceptions on disability content affects or mirrors the perception of disability in Jordan and how it connects to the taboo of disability back in my country. I'm part of the Creative and Cultural Policy Research, CCPR, at the College of Arts. My supervisors are Dr. Inge Sorensen and Dr. Amy Holdsworth. My thesis is actually connected to my undergraduate thesis, where I basically focused on how visual impairment was worded in Jordanian media and its connection, or let's say comparison, with the British media. The reason I decided to do a PhD is I decided to help the disability community. Not a lot of researchers have a model or have a mentor who helped them throughout their journey, such as myself. And I thought I can do that when I go back home, and I'm hoping to teach, after my PhD. I'd like to do a little exercise with you. I'd like you to take your hands and put them on your eyes as if you're looking through a binocular. And I'd like you to experience or to tell me how you see. Look around the room. What does it make you feel like? You can put it in the chat. While you're looking around, what can you see? What is visible? What isn't visible? Just to take 5 minutes. It is a weird feeling, right? It's taking a bit of your vision from this. And this is actually how I see the world, how I see my research. I was born with what was known as retinitis pigmentosa. It is a family of rare genetic eye mutations that affects your cones and rods. You can either be detected earlier or it can be detected later in life. I was fortunate enough to get an early detection. You start to lose your peripheral vision or your central vision. You go night blind. And there are other symptoms that come with it. You can either lose your balance, no depth of field, you're very clumsy, which is why I bump into so many things, or I can't even walk in a straight line and on a daily basis. But that's basically what it is. And you can also go colorblind, which is why sometimes I wear mismatched socks. It happens in life. But research has shown that 1 in 4,000 people in the UK and US can get affected. It's an invisible disability. That's why when you look at me, you don't even see it. Like, I'm just wearing glasses. But as soon as I use my white cane, her name is Bonnie, you might have seen her, or my red cane named Andrew, then it becomes a visible disability. I just thought I could show you some pictures on how a normal eye can see and how a retina that is basically affected by RP can see. Like I told you, you see, we look as if we have tunnel vision. It happens. So in my first year of my PhD, I moved from one lockdown to another. I was in Jordan, and then I moved here to Scotland. Fun fact, I was on one of the first planes that left Jordan after our airport opened to get to Glasgow. I had to travel through Dubai to get here. And honestly, it's not a fun experience being on a plane for 22 hours with a mask. It is horrible, it is tiring, and it feels like you're losing your breath. I had to make sure that I had a routine to help me balance between using a computer for so long, because everything was on Zoom and being outdoors. During the winter, as you know, in Scotland, the time and actually your day is short. It turns dark at 3 p.m. You're going to notice this. And it's very weird. It feels like you want to go to sleep 24/7. I had to make sure that, I need to look at connections. It was so hard. I thought I was going to come to Scotland. I was going to make friends easily. The connections were going to be easy, but it was all online. I started to feel like I was isolated and that it was hard to talk to people, always staring at a screen. I'm actually only allowed to use a screen for 8 hours a day because of retinitis pigmentosa. Here I came to my PhD thinking like, I'm going to be able to take breaks, be in a classroom. It was different. I basically ended up using the computer 12 to 14 hours per day. At the end of the day, I started to see black spots and I started to have a double vision, which is something you don't want to have. I had to also read a lot. This is what they will have you do, is that in your first year, you have to read, write and read, make notes. I started to wonder, wait a second, is my life just based on being a researcher, or is there going to be time for myself? Like, where is my identity going? Where is myself going? But I also had to balance my medical visits as well. With RP, you have to go once a year to test to make sure your vision is not deteriorating. And there is no warning signals. It's not like one day you'll start to feel pain in your chest. No. When I was 21, my peripheral vision, one day I had it, the next it was gone. In a snap of my finger, it just went completely. So these things I had to make sure that I was keeping an eye on, but I got so tired to the fact that I even burnt out. And honestly, guys, it is a real thing. You can get burnt out. So keep an eye on that. So the question that I had to ask myself is, how was I going to balance my PhD with my visual impairment? Like, how was I going to balance doing something I love and not trying to hurt myself in the process? So as everybody knows me, I love my mind maps. Whoever has worked with me knows that this is something I use to actually manage my time. And so I decided to go back to the drawing board and put down all my challenges on the screen. I don't know if you guys can connect to these challenges. If you have any other challenges, please put them in the chats. Let me know what you think. But I thought, why not? You know, I can put it down and see what are the challenges I'm going to have to face during my first year. And most probably one of the biggest challenges I had to face is the lockdown and the pandemic. Like, how is this going to affect myself? How is it going to affect the workload that I had? As I said, you know, everything was online. So it was, you know, from Zoom to Netflix, from reading. It was even hard to actually take a book out of the library, because when you took a book out of the library here, it also had to go through a quarantine period, which is something I was surprised by. But while we quarantined, so did the books. Another thing I had to face was communication. I'm visually impaired. I love talking to people. As you can see, I'm very social. I can't just sit in front of a screen and type. And so I had to make sure that I could find these connections and make sure that they understand that, okay, you know, I can't always text. I need to come up with a different kind of form to talk. Another thing I had to also face as a challenge was the environment. It is so hard to adapt when you're moving from one place to another, when everything is indoors. For me, I had to memorize my routes, memorize my places. This is where spotters come into effect. I had to memorize a certain spotter. But the challenge here was, what if that spotter wasn't there next day? Like, what if there was construction and things started to happen? That spotter can disappear. How was I supposed to find my way back from campus? And then I had to battle with myself. Here, sometimes, you know, you're wondering, okay, am I doing the right thing? Did I come at the right time to do my PhD? Am I worthy of doing a PhD? Is this the path that I need to take? I had so many questions popping into my head. How am I supposed to live on my own? How am I supposed to do everything? How am I supposed to support myself? You will come across so many questions in your head that sometimes can make you go to a place that is going to put you down. But that is a challenge that we all have to face, you know, moving from one stage into our life to the next. So how did I overcome these challenges? I did a balancing act, but also I had to adapt. It's something that's very important. Something I would say is a key factor in life is that we have to adapt to anything that gets thrown at us. Life is unexpected. And as we can see, nobody expected that we'd be hit by a pandemic. But here we are in a new era, a new world, and we had to adapt. I had to adapt to walking in the dark. I've never took that risk in my life before, and I had to do it. And it was scary at first. In fact, I fell into a huge puddle when I walked for the first time. I bumped into one of the poles, but it's something you have to learn. You have to overcome these fears and these challenges, but you also have to adapt. But I'd say don't take risks without having, you know, another plan in mind. Like, I did it once, I didn't do it again. It was a risk I had to take. And also the best thing you can do is just ask for help. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I walk around in the streets and I'm like, could you just help me cross the street? It's okay. You know, everybody needs help. We're all human. Another thing I would say, create your own normal. Okay, you know, you're not used to using computers. You need help. You need more light. Make your own normal. Like, I can't see colors, I use a color detector that the RNIB created. It's like a remote control. It basically, you put it on a material or any surface and it will say red, blue, green. It is the best invention I've ever seen in my life, and it is so helpful. Like my sister who can see even uses it, and she's an artist. She's in the fashion industry. Another thing is focus on your positive connections. I focused on my friends that I even made during my high school. We still stay in touch. We have weekly Zoom meetings. Some of them even came to visit. I'd say stay connected with your supervisors. My supervisors and I, we talk every month. You know, they ask me about my health. They ask me about my research. They are your key connections. And also, you can also connect with your old managers. Like Jennifer said, I was an intern with the research and innovation team. I still, you know, stay in touch. Like I still go to her workshops. I tweet about them. Honestly, they are the, you know, the people you work with and you interact with, they will give you that positive energy. They would give you that source of joy. It is the most amazing thing you can have. And also focus on yourself. Sometimes you need to shut everything off and just relax. Sometimes I just put off my phone, put off my laptop, close everything, and just go for a walk. You know, just enjoy life, because life is too short. You know, you need to just have fun. And honestly, the best things happen when you least expect them. What I learned in the past year, my first year, is that I started to trust my gut. Any decision I made, any connection I made, I trusted myself from doing it. Like before I did something, I was like, okay, you know, I'm going to trust myself to take it. And I did. Like the most important decision I made so far while I was here is that I applied for a guide dog. And so far it's been going well. I'm hoping, you know, the application goes through, but that's the best decision I've made, is that I started it from the beginning of my journey here in Scotland. Another thing I would also say is make a plan, like make a routine. Like I wake up at around 8 in the morning, I walk to campus, I grab my coffee, I sit down, I work, I take my lunch break, and then I work. Like I used to work back home before I came back to my university experience, and my day was from 9 to 6 every day. And so I keep the same routine. I don't change it. Time management is key. As we saw with Charlie's presentation, it's really great to be organized. It's great to have time management skills, because it is going to help you. Like you never know, like something might pop up and you're going to be like, okay, I need to shift things. But if you time manage your time, if you say, okay, 5 hours a day or 4 hours a day, I'm going to study, 1 hour, I'm going to take break. And then afterwards, like Gaston said, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, I'm so sorry. He said that after 5 o'clock, he basically takes time off. I do that. I'm like, okay, after 5 o'clock, that's it. I'm not looking at my research. Because in the morning, when you wake up and you come back to your research, you are looking at it with a different eye, with a different perspective. Also, like I said, burnout is not fun. It's going to hurt you mentally and physically. Like I used to also work my weekends. I didn't take a break. The only time I took off actually was after my APR in June. I decided to take some holiday. That's when my family came. My mom was like, listen, I know you're a workaholic, but I'm coming to visit. You're taking this time off. And even my supervisors told me you need to take your weekends off. And so this is what I've been doing this year. And it's been great. Like I'm getting my sleeping hours back. My eyes are resting. I'm focusing on me, you know, like I'm focusing on myself, my mental being. And honestly, it's made me a more positive person. Like I said, sometimes you need to take a break. Just do it. Like sometimes you're writing, you can't put words on the screen. Be like, you know what? Just put the pen down and go. Do something fun. I'm the secretary for Dance for Water. We dance salsa and bachata. I usually go to classes to take break. And honestly, it's amazing. It's another way to make connections. And also believe in yourself. The only person who's going to believe in the work is you. Like you're the one who's doing it. You're doing this because you love it. So just believe in it. And also have fun, be positive. Like I said, life is too short. I honestly, like, because I'm visually impaired, if I don't bump into something, I know it's not going to be a good day. I know it's a funny thing to say, but because I'm so used to being clumsy, I'm always seeing it in a different eye. Like I always make jokes. If someone's like, oh my God, I don't see, I'm like, oh, you made a blind joke. Just have fun. You know, it's a fun thing to do. And honestly, just enjoy your journey as a PhD student, because it is not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a journey. You know, you should enjoy it. You should learn from it. Like, I've learned so much just in the past year. So a couple of links I wanted to share with you is that I wrote about my journey, you know, traveling around Scotland with a like visual impairment. Also, I wrote a couple of blogs for the PGR blog. If you have an idea and you'd like to share it, do write for the PhD blog. It is such a fun experience. Also, I actually, like Jennifer said, I am on the committee for the Glasgow Guardian. I'm the online editor, so I write as well for them. I also wrote for the Glasgow magazine, University magazine, about my journey from Jordan. Like I said, I was in a mask for 22 hours on a plane. You can read about my experience. I also wrote a letter to my eyes. This is the first time I wrote something dedicated to my eyes. It was from the World Sight Day, which happened on 14th of October. It's when visually impaired people and people who have sight loss, they celebrate the sight they have or they lost and their experiences in life. It is the most amazing thing to read about others' experiences because you learn from my experience of being visually impaired. Like, I lost my peripheral vision when I was 21. I'm now 27. I still have my central sight, which is something rare for people with RP. I celebrate that sight because I've learned a lot from it. Like, I'm wiser, but also I have vision. I don't have sight. Sight is just a spectrum. Vision is infinite. So we learn a lot from the senses we have because you never know what you're going to gain from it. And also, if you have a disability and you need help, your best place at the university is the disability services. They will help you. They've helped me. I'm registered as blind now in Glasgow because of them. They help. Honestly, reach out because you don't want to burn out or something to happen and you didn't get that help, you know, that is there. The university is there to help us. Just reach out. And also, like I said, I am in love with mind maps. I use mind maps every day. So there's a software you can use. It's a website online called Google. This is the link. Use it. It's really, really good. And it's all filled with colors and it will help you with your research. Thank you.